I'm gonna start with this video right here. You know what I'm saying? It was uploaded August the 24th of 2019. All right. Now, I ended up going to jail um November the 21st, November 22nd. All right. So what happened in that situation was the end of the rope, end of the situation, whatever the situation was. All right. So that's where I'm gonna start because that's how it happened. All right. Make a long story short, I'm in a situation where, I ain't got no money. I'm trying to work on getting my disability. And I was like, all right, I wanted to smoke. Ashley was like, well, hey, I can get you some, this and that. So she leaves at 11 o'clock. She don't get back till 2:30 that morning. So I'm like, all right, well, hey, where the weed at? You come back with a joint. So I'm like, and a half a joint that she had already smoked with whoever she went to go get the weed with. So I'm like, well, damn, okay. I done lost on that one. So then she gets in the bed and goes to sleep like, whatever. I did the best I could. So I goes downstairs. We was living in a two-story. So I goes downstairs and gets some water in a pot and goes upstairs and throw it on her like, I'm not finna sleep in this bed because it's wet, so you ain't finna sleep in the bed neither. So she goes downstairs and gets on the sofa. Well, before she gets on the sofa, she called the police. When she called the police show up. They say, hey, say a prayer. We'll say a prayer for you. Then the police leave. Well, after the police left that morning, when we both woke up from whatever rest we got or whatever rest we didn't get, probably about 8 o'clock that morning, she says whatever she says. So her grandmother calls. Well, when her grandmother calls, I tell her grandmother that, whatever the situation was, I'm not going to keep putting up with it. I'm done. So when I told her that I was done, in the midst of us still arguing, she calls the police. The grandmother calls the police and says, oh, go over there and check on them because whatever they got going on, it's all the way bad. So the police shows up at 9 o'clock. Well, when the police get there at 9 o'clock, I'm like, all right, they gonna come in and say what they gotta say, and everything was gonna be cool. Well, the police got there and they was like, get up, stand up, come outside and talk to us. Well, I'm like, I'm in the presence of my home. Why would I have to get up and go outside and talk to you, when we could just talk here? They was like, nah, come on, get up, let's go outside. So as soon as I stood up, they was like, oh, put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest for trespassing. So I'm like, okay, whatever the situation is, I tell Ash, I say, get my money, which I didn't have no money because I couldn't buy no weed. So I told the police, I say, get my jacket. Well, instead of getting the jacket that had some money in it, because I had two jackets, he gets the jacket that didn't have no money in it. So apparently they must have searched him. So I goes downtown. I calls Ashley and I tell her, I'm like, look, whatever the situation is, she says, I can't come get you. I say, okay, no problem. You can't come get me. So when she said that she can't come get me, I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to sit here. So I asked the police what happened in the report. In the report, the police said that I threw bleach on her, and I got a restraining order that no contact. So I'm like, okay, well, I goes to court after a couple hours or a couple days, because apparently it was 2 days that I sat in the holding cell. So I goes to court and they tell me that I can't have no contact with Ashley. I can't have no contact with Faith. I can't have no contact with Dominique. I said, okay, no problem. So I was like, wait a minute. If I can't go home I might as well stay here. So I stayed there. I stayed in jail until my court date. Well, in the system, if you have a altercation with your spouse or your significant other, and in this situation, Ash had already told the police, this ain't my husband, whatever the situation was. I'm like, well, we married. The police was like, it ain't against the law for her to have friends. At this point, I don't care, because everything that we had been through within the last 12 years, our relationship kind of had ran its course. But, when you try to make a change for the better, you try to do something different. And when you try to do something different, it normally ends up in, some kind of situation where you fail yourself. So I'm like, well, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I said, I'm going to put myself in the position and say, well, if I can't go home, I'm going to stay here. So I stayed there. Well, while I'm staying there, the guys in this cell is telling me, they like, look, it's a good thing that you did stay here, because if you would have went home, you would have went to jail anyway whenever you went to court. So I'm like, well, why was I going to go to jail for when I went to court? They was like, because when you have a no contact and you still contacting the person, so if you still show up with this person whenever you go to court, you already broke the no contact. I say, okay. I say, well, I'm kind of glad that I didn't go. So 9 days, I didn't have a phone. I didn't have no money on my books. I was slamming my trays. By this time, it's Thanksgiving, within my 9 days from the 21st to the 30th. So I'm slamming my trays for 4 days. I ain't eat. And I'm like, well, all right, whatever the situation is, it'll get better. Well, previous videos, y'all saw, she had sent a couple letters, and I never wrote her back because I couldn't have no contact, and I didn't have no money to get no stamps. I ain't had no money to do anything but, me trying to hustle inside the jail to get myself in a situation to try to do better. So while I'm there, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do and how the situation going to play itself out. Well, Ash had already told me, she was entertaining these guys and whatever she was doing. But, I'm hoping that it's going to make the life of the home situation better. But obviously it didn't. Well, in that situation, I was like, all right. So when I get out of jail, I tell Ash, I say, look, when I was in jail, they told me I had no contact order. I say, we need to separate. I said, it's best for all of us if we just go ahead and separate for a while. You do your thing, I'm going to do my thing, and eventually, we'll get back together and try and make something happen. Well, that situation wasn't what she wanted to hear. She was like, no, we together. This situation is what it's going to be. You're not going to tell me this and that. Well, in the midst of that, her grandmother had already told the police that she was happily separated. We wasn't together. It was best that I went ahead and moved on, so whatever attempt to get me X'd out of the situation, which she had already put in the paperwork when I was trying to get my child support going, prosecute him to the fullest, because she was working at the courthouse with the police and with the district attorney and all that other stuff. So I'm like, well, shit, she's banning me like this. I need to get away from them for real. So y'all heard in the previous videos, grandma, they scammers and this and that. Well, I mean, how we scamming when your granddaughter learned from you? You done taught her everything that you knew to be that person that you presenting to her when you didn't even know that you was being recorded on the phone at that time. So, okay, we got past that situation. Well, the video that I want to show y'all is this situation right here. All right. This is called DJ Screw Following the Drip Rack City Stir Fry. All right. Now, while I'm trying to get my unemployment, in the midst of me trying to get my unemployment, I had to go through, hoops and hurdles and try to get my money. Well, let me rewind this. Let me show it to you again, because I'm going to do it and I'm going to pause it and show y'all that this is what really happened. All right. If you could see that right here, this is the water, which is water because it's going into this container. Well, when Ashley called her grandmother to try to help and get some funds, her grandmother told her that, hey, I ain't got no money. Don't call me. I can't help you, this and that. So when the water got cut off, Ashley's grandmother had sent a check, which when she sent the check, she returned and said that she canceled the check. So they cut the water off. Well, Ashley ended up with a $700 something bill. So the only way that we could flush the toilet, the only way that we could drink water, cold water, the only way that we could wash dishes, the only way that we could do anything in the house that consisted of using water was this drip right here. So, it went on for about a week or two until eventually, it was to the point to where, hey, it's nothing I could do. So it wasn't nothing I could do for that situation. So, it was what it was. Well, now let's make it to fast forward to this situation here. So after that, we had done everything we could do. The lights got cut off. Ashley asked her grandma for some money on the light bill. She gave her the money on the light bill. She canceled the check on that. So, even with trying to get the money for the landlord, by me not working, this is all because Ashley had already told me, oh, we separated. I don't want you, to leave. I want you to stay here. So I was pretty much in a torture chamber where, it was pretty much, let me just keep on pushing the limits on you to put the pressure on me to say, hey, as a man, what you gonna do? But this was already after I done already had my stroke, after I already had my seizure, after I already had been through everything that I could go through possibly in my life to be as far as down as I could be and still be rejected. All right. So this video right here is when my daughter Faith was in the hospital. All right. So when she went in the hospital, I was able to get my unemployment money. Well, when I got my unemployment money, lo and behold, she was in the hospital for 9 days. So the 9 days that she was in the hospital, I ended up in a situation where I had spent $1,200 while we was at the hospital. I spent $1,200 while we was at the hospital. All right, let me pause this because I don't know where it's taking me. All right, so hold on. All right, so back to what I was saying. As far as me knowing that this situation was going on, I'm like, all right, my daughter in the hospital, I got to spend whatever funds that I got to spend. I spent $1,200 that I didn't have, that I didn't know where it was going to come from, but somehow it showed up and that situation had played out. All right, now that video was on May 23rd of 2019. All right. Now, the only reason I'm showing myself this and I'm showing y'all this is because this is my timeline of how everything was misconstrued, how everything was on me, and how, it's all my fault for whatever situation that I done put myself in. All right. So this was July the 5th. I'm at the doctor's office. Now, I had to go to the eye doctor. Now, the problem of going to the eye doctor, that this is my second year having to go to the eye doctor. With me having to go to the eye doctor for my second year, obviously, Ashley's showing me that she's really not interested in what I have going on. She's not interested in me being in a position to where I'm down, hold on, wait a minute. Let me pause this. All right. With me being in a situation to where I'm doing as bad as I could do, I'm trying to hold on to whatever I can hold on to as far as being part of my kid's life and, staying in a situation where obviously I'm not welcome, but I'm being forced into a situation where, I have to make a choice. So while I'm young, dumb, and broke, I'm in a situation where I start working. So while I'm working, I'm doing everything that I could do to at least be part of my daughter's life. And obviously, it just got to the point to where we're just going to force you out because money rules most situations. If you don't have any money, you don't really have a say so. So by me not having any money and the funds that I did spend, I was getting further in debt, pushing myself further behind the eight ball until I eventually ended up in a situation where actually found somebody else or somebody else was presented in her life to be able to carry the torch or whatever the situation may be or whatever we have today. I don't know. But as a man, I still got to hold up for my end of the deal. So my end of the deal is what ultimately you're going to see at the end of the video is me still pursuing myself to follow through as a man and deliver. So what I'm trying to deliver is myself to not show my family, but since I didn't get a divorce, I still have to go through the motions. So this is me leaving Kentucky and moving on to satisfy what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, let me start that over. All right. So this is where I'm at now. I'm in a position to where I was supposed to have a date to go to my disability. All right. Well, since I've done everything that I could try to do, I was blackballed from that situation. So I had to make a move and I ended up in a shelter. Well, I got the documentation of me being in the shelter. So I was able to get myself to the next level. Well, in between all that, Ashley fills out my paperwork for my disability case and tells the people at disability that I can't count. I don't know how to handle money. Just everything to do the wrong thing behind whatever case it is. And I put her as my caregiver. So, that's everything that happened to me, that I was in a position to where, I was trying to do the right thing or trying to fix a bad situation. I've tried everything as a human being to, do whatever I could do to get something going, and nothing worked. Nothing possibly worked. It's still not working. So, I don't know what the next move is. But for myself, this is the last time that, I was in a happy place. with my daughter, because this is obviously what the world sees or what the world has seen. All right, now now let's check out the footwork, because all right, in this video, as you can see, I got on the J's, the hybrids, whatever it is, with the straps, and they all black. All right, so I ended up going back to Jordans. Not that I wanted to wear them, but I wear a size 15, and that was the cheapest thing at the store at that time that I could afford. All right, now within the last 8 months, I have been out of jail from November to today's current date. I've been able to keep myself up. Now, I'm going to fast forward this. All right. Look at these shoes here. All right. This is the first pair that I went and bought as soon as I got out. When I went to jail, I had on Reeboks. All right. So when I got out of jail, I ended up going to get these J's right here, the Legends. All right. So I wore them for 6 months. After the 6 months, I said, hey, I done had these long enough. They were starting to stink. I was wearing them every day. I said, I need to go ahead and get me a new pair. That's when I went and got the ones with straps on them. Well, I've had those for 6 months. Now it's probably time for me to get a new pair because it's here at the end of October. All right. So, that's how I've been rocking. Now, why would I put myself in a situation to keep failing when, I got somebody with me, I don't have nobody with me, I'm obviously by myself? Because every video that I posted, it was clearly explaining that I was by myself. The reason I'm explaining that I'm by myself is because I'm living this life where this person is telling me, hey, I don't want you to be here, I want you gone, but I'm going to continue to use you. And, for me not getting the signs or not understanding what was going on, it's like a situation where you are at the casino. Let's just say you playing the slot machine and you're winning a little bit. You put your money in the machine, and every time you push the button, you get you play $1.50 max bet, and you win 50 cents every time. All right, so every time I would win 50 cents in a replay, 50 cents in a replay. So I'm not getting enough to say that I'm getting a max benefit out of my money. But let's just say I play $20 and, I push the button 20 times on $1.25. And out of those 20 times that I push for $1.25, I get 5 respins to play where I'm actually at a position to say, hey, I might be winning, or I might go to a bonus game to allow me to get some more money. So I continue to play this game with my own self. And, if you've seen in my Facebook, it was me looking through the virtual reality, playing that game. So that was the game that I was obviously playing on my own life. I didn't know it because once you become institutionalized in your own right, you're chasing something. Now, the gambling, I'm 36 years old. I've been gambling since I was 21. I've been working since I was 16. So if you go back in time and add up from working at the age of 16 to the age of 36, you multiply how much money that you've made from going to work every day. All right. Now, let's see. Hold on. Wait a minute. The phone ringing. It's not for me. I'm not going to answer it, but I don't want it to keep interrupting what I'm doing. All right. So, like I was saying, if you go back, and anybody could do the math from working from the age of 16 to the age of 36, you have 365 days in a year. Sometime it's 366 if it's a leap year. All right. So simple math, you multiply the rate of pay times your annual of that year. So let's just say I was averaging $40,000 to $30,000 a year. But at 16, obviously you're not making no 10 grand. You might be making 10 grand a year from 16 to 18. All right, so after 18 and you're able to get a legit legal job, you're making somewhere between, depending on where you live, between 25 to 27, $30,000 a year. All right, so you average that out over 18 years to average out how much you've actually made and how much you actually spent, because you have 365 days in a year and you multiply that times the hours that you have done lived in those 18 years. So that's how we end up with over 3 million. All right, it's legit numbers. Some people have made more than that. People are still making more than that. But for me to be in the position that I'm in, that's just what it was, because I come from nothing. All right, so now I'm going to go to this video here where I go to the store. Let me see, where is it? I have to find it. Okay, here it is. All right, I go to the store. Well, when I go to the store, I'm going to the store to go and buy some toilet paper. Well, how much of a man do you not want to be?
You know you balling when you buy straight off the display.
And how much less of a man do you not want to be if you still continue to do?
Get your game up. You already know
So
what time it is.
I've continued throughout all of these years to do what I'm supposed to be doing, and obviously it fails.
Yeah, it was on.
All right.
Yeah, because it's pouring down raining.
Yeah, it's on. It's pouring down raining. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Shit.
All right.
I'll holler at you after a while.
All right.
Now, I didn't answer the phone, so obviously I'm not talking to anybody. So, that's how it is. Wait a minute. Let me see. I got to get back to this video. All right. Now, this is the video right here.
I'm out here right now trying to get me a phone call so I can get on. Because that's the only way I can sing my motherfucking rhymes. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I'm gonna get this out here as fast as I can. Ma'am, where your phone call is at? Okay, I'm going in the right direction. All right, thank you.
I'm trying to get a phone card so I can continue my production.
I gotta go to the cash first. I only need a little bit. All right. Let me see where we go. All right, I hope it ain't too late. I'm gonna see. Let me see if they still up in the store. What they need.
So I'm obviously having a dollar or two. I'm coming up with some funds because you can't steal a phone card. So, where am I still getting money from? That's my thing, for me to be so broke and be in a situation that, I'm all the way down.
I don't know how to turn around. Look, there you go. Let's see if we can see. What y'all getting?
What do you need waterproof Band-Aids for?
I don't know. I got the phone card.
All right, I got the phone card. So I don't know why Faith needed waterproof Band-Aids.
So you need these now, or can you wait?
Hold up, let's go back because I was talking. She need them to do waterproof in case they go swimming.
I need him now.
All right, she needed him now.
No. I guess I don't see it. All right, then. I still gotta put something on my lips. They all crusty. Yeah. All right, then. I am talking to myself, and y'all just listening to my life on how I be living. But I gotta get my phone card to get myself turned on and get activated for a few. I ain't no messages scrolling at the bottom. Shit, this is pre-recorded.
All right. So since it's all pre-recorded, that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's basically my life in a nutshell, because I'm behind my own self in a situation where I can't get ahead. And, I ain't saying that it's sad. I ain't saying that it's some bullshit. I'm just saying that, hey, obviously I can't get ahead. I'm not in a position where I can get ahead. So, I'm just explaining my own life through my YouTube channel, since I've almost, died, been having seizures, having anxiety attacks, after several attempts to try to be part of something. It just obviously gets to a point to where I don't know if I'm looking at the right thing, or if I'm listening to the right stuff, or what the case is, or what is going on. But obviously, not anything working in my life at this moment, So, I'm just at a point to where I don't understand what I need to do. Because even in this situation here, I'm making every attempt to be part of something by going to the scrap yard. This is July the 24th. So this is obviously a week after, 2 weeks after I went to the doctor's office for my eyes. And I'm like, well, you're not with me, but you're with me. So, just playing both sides of the fence is obviously what's happening for me, so I can't get any positive out of nothing, So
well, it was already
yeah, it was already tore up.
I guess. So I don't know. Everything that I've tried just didn't work. Every move that I made just wasn't significant for me to say that I'm part of something, or anything's working. So my best advice for myself is, get on my feet, get away from people who's not trying to have my life the best of their interests. And this is just a prime example of a person that uses you for their own gain. And I just don't know what I could do in this situation to obviously make myself say that I want to be in this situation in the future. Now, the only satisfaction that I can get out of this situation is making every attempt to show myself that, hey, I can't continue to be involved in these situations. I can't continue to try to chase something that's not there. If you notice, that's why I laugh on Facebook at most of the comments. That's why I'm angry at most of the time that stuff is posted with Ashley Herndon. It's not to hate, but Facebook was obviously created to have an outlet to show that this is cruel intentions without creating bodily harm, or without creating an offense, to say that, hey, you just need to find another outlet to express your own life. I don't know what's the next move for me. I've made attempts to go to church to try to do something different. even when you see the situations like that, my uncle is a preacher. I've done things to say that I'm uh, trying every move, and every time I try, they even close the door on me because they don't see me. So I don't know if they used to hate or what the situation is, but I have this video on here that's called Computer. And I want anybody out there that obviously thinks that they have an answer, I want them to click on this computer video, listen to it to the end, and let me know what I can do to change, because I've obviously pushed myself to the limits.